The Washington Supreme Court has denied a Toppenish man's request for resentencing in a 2011 murder case. Darren Stanley Harris, now known as Darren Stanley Arquette, was 17 at the time of the crime and argued that his age should be taken into account for a lighter sentence. Casino flights are back at Yakima Airport, which means it's time to bring your wallets, but maybe leave your Hawaiian shirts at home. It isn't just affecting people driving cars, but pedestrians as well. Today, Yakima County is dialing up a new kind of care, launching a 911 nurse navigation program designed to triage help without always sending the sirens. It's Toys for Tots season here at KIMA, and we're teaming up with the Marine Corps to fill our studio with toys to help local kids of all ages, from babies to teens, have a Merry Christmas. So they're doing some Yakima good, and I'm not sure if you know, but all schools in the Yakima School District had the week off.
Oh, really?
But how did they manage this? Take a look. With nurse navigators now on call, Yakima County is making every second and every response count. A Lakewood man was arrested last week after allegedly selling cocaine to an undercover informant in an operation set up by Ellensburg police. Elijah Amari Bonds was found through social media by the informant who arranged 3 drug buys in April. Police watched the sales closely, even using a drone during the 3rd one. Bond is facing felony charges and his bail is set at $15,000. Milwaukee's Tourism Bureau estimates the convention will have a $200 million economic impact in the region before it ends. For DC News Now, I'm Anissa Williams in Milwaukee. Whether it's on grass or the sand, the moves are basically the same, but grass is safer. The Washington Commanders have a new head coach, quarterback, and team owner, which is a lot to adjust to. Training camp will help with that transition, but fan support is crucial when the season starts. Reporting in Ashburn, I'm Anissa Williams for DC News Now. The Republican National Convention is in full swing here in Milwaukee, and the big news today is Donald Trump's announcement of his vice presidential pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson has approved a nearly $78 billion operating budget, moving forward with a plan that includes over $9 billion in new taxes, despite earlier pledges to look for cost-saving measures first. Thanks, Austin. I got the chance to release a salmon myself, and after taking some time to think about his name, I think I'm going to go with Bruno. So Bruno and his fellow salmon have been at the Arboretum since January, and they've been raised up until this point. So I'm going to release Bruno here on the count of 3. And he's going to join Elsa, Mr. Pencil, R2-D2, Triceratops, just a multiple of names that the preschoolers came up with. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye, Bruno. Hopefully he lives a very, very long life. Back to you in the studio, Austin. Thanks, John. I'm here in Sunnyside, where Yakima Valley Partners Habitat for Humanity has just broken ground on one of 6 new homes in the Lynch Street neighborhood. This project is in collaboration with Perry Tech and Catholic Charities, empowering local families through affordable housing. Now, the project won't be completed until May of 2025, but today marks the start of a community effort to build homes, hope, and stability for Sunnyside residents. Back to you, John. Thanks, John. Good evening, everyone. Anissa Williams here. I'm here at Santa's Workshop at Valley Mall, hanging out with Jacob Butler, the marketing manager of Valley Mall, as well as the Toys for Tots sponsor with KIMA. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I'm incredibly magically married today. How are you?
I'm great. So what message or goal would you like to send the community this holiday season?
I heard banana cat. We had Triceratops, Sparkle, of course. I think a few Lilo and Stitches. Yeah, some really good ones.
Bye, Elsa. Good luck.
Those were just a few of the many creative names the preschoolers came up with for their salmon. One child even wrote a heartfelt letter to theirs. It's all part of the school cooperative program, formerly Salmon in the Classroom, in partnership with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. At Soulshine Nature Preschool, kids help raise salmon from eggs to fry, check water quality, and keep the fish healthy until they're ready to be released.
A lot of folks don't know what salmon look like when they're eggs or when they're young babies, and so it's nice to see that a salmon that can get 40, 50, 60 pounds starts out as this tiny little thing. And so with the preschoolers today, they're starting out small and they're learning these small things, but over the years they'll grow and begin to learn more and more, and hopefully they'll make that connection with our natural world and be better stewards for the earth.
This year, 60 healthy king salmon, the largest salmon species in Washington and one of the 3 that returned to the Yakima River, were released. The program can vary year to year. Sometimes there are over 100 fish, other times just 1. When enough salmon are available, the Arboretum invites the preschoolers who help raise them to join in the release.
They didn't make it last year, and they had to watch them diminish slowly in our tank, which, learning, full circle, but it was a little sad, so yeah. They were pumped to do this year.
Brendan explained that out of 2,000 to 3,000 salmon eggs, only about 4 or 5 typically survive to return as spawning adults, making the journey incredibly difficult. The goal of the program is to boost salmon populations, not just by giving these fish a better chance, but by supporting future generations of wild-born salmon. As Brendan put it, the more adults that return, the better.
The cool thing about salmon is they are a part of a positive feedback loop, and so the more salmon that are able to come back and lay eggs, well, when they die, their bodies actually help grow the forest and help make the river healthier in that area, which then adds more food, which then makes the babies have a better chance of survival, which then hopefully they go out and more return, and so it can be a positive feedback loop. So when the more salmon come back, we'll hopefully have more and more salmon in the future.
Reporting for Action News, I'm Anissa Williams. As you can see, the streets are almost empty downtown for the RNC, except for authorized vehicles. That means you're gonna have to do a little bit of walking to get to your favorite restaurant. Omar Shack owns 2 downtown Milwaukee restaurants, Carnivore, a high-end steakhouse, and 3rd Street Market, a food hall with 20 restaurants and a 32 tap beer wall. Shack said the business at Carnivore has been steady, but 3rd Street Market has the most foot traffic.
Seeing a lot of media, seeing a lot of law enforcement coming in to eat, seeing a lot of the delegates, and so seeing a lot of everything. Locals, not as much. The nature of these large-scale political conventions, you're going to have to block streets and the security zones, inner and outer, so it doesn't make it as easy for the locals to frequent the places.
He may not be seeing the locals, but David Hoffer and his family's 16-year-old business is showing the RNC what Milwaukee has to offer.
They told us as food vendors that they wanted us to be open at 2 and end at 5:30. Well, it's 1 o'clock right now, and we've been open since 11 this morning. So we've been definitely selling a lot of cheese curds, grilled cheeses. And like I said, I had no expectations, but compared to other fairs and festivals that we do, I'm happy.
Milwaukee's Tourism Bureau estimates the convention will have a $200 million economic impact in the region before it ends. For DC News Now, I'm Anissa Williams in Milwaukee.